I want to familiarize you with Canva, which is the other platform where we can actually make a logo, and this is especially good for logos that are circles. Like you see a little one right here that is actually part of the tutorial that I made for you, which we'll get to in just a minute. So Canva is a platform that is not really for professional designers. It isn't at all for professional designers, in fact. It's for people, small business owners or amateurs or teachers, people like that, who want to create their own design work, either because they like to do that or because they don't want to work with a graphic designer. And it works based upon templates. So you start out with a template which you then change, and you will see what I mean in just a minute. So they have a lot of different things. They have logos also, and that's what we are going to be looking at. But let's just look at a few other things that they have. So for example, they have infographics templates where you can just take one and change it, modify it. And they have some very nice ones actually too, for small businesses, business people who want to make presentations and so on. You can design, let's say for example, you can design your invoice if you have a small business, like so. Or you can design your own brochures, again, if you have a small business and you don't want to, or you can't afford to hire a professional graphic designer to do this, then this would be a very good alternative and it has a front and a back cover, so you would basically just take this, customize this template, and let me just open it to show you, and you would just change the texts, or you could also of course move things around. So for example, you could take these and move them up or down or whatever, and you can also change the fonts. So you can just go and pick another font. You can upload your own font if you want to also, and change the colors, and so on and so forth. So that's how it works. And one of the things that they have, one of the categories that they have, and like I said, it's also something for instructors, for marketing, for business, and then also a lot of personal stuff or social media stuff. So for example, you can do your they have templates for Instagram posts, for example, for people who can't really design their own Instagram posts or want to do something with typography and photography together but don't really know how to do that. They can use some of these templates, but then they also have logos. So what you would need to do and before we get there, let me just say this. Now you need to have a professional, an account, just a regular free account, which you can just create with your social media information. But when you first create your account, they actually give you 1 month free for a professional account, or a premium account as they call it, I think. And what I would advise you to do is, I can't show you how to do this here because I already have the account, but I would advise you to do that, to have that free trial for 1 month, because it will allow you to do certain things, such as for example export your logos in larger sizes or with transparent backgrounds, which is all very important, which a free account doesn't allow you to do that. For example, it doesn't allow you to have transparent backgrounds. So just create the trial thing, do the trial thing, but then don't forget to stop it before the month is up, otherwise they will charge you. Now they charge you in Turkish lira, not in dollars. It is not that expensive. I have kept the premium account because I want to use it for teaching purposes, such as doing this tutorial here with you right now. But you will probably just opt out. You will, before the month is up. You have to remember that. And I will in fact remind you of that in class. So, so let's now go back and look at how we do this. So you click on logos, and when you click on logos, it opens up a big list of logo type templates, and the ones that are, you know, where it makes sense to use Canva rather than the Wix editor are the round ones, where the text is actually going in an arc. Because the other stuff we can very easily do on the Wix editor as well, and I already have tutorials for that, a separate tutorial for that. In fact, I think I have even more than one. So what I would start with on Canva is a like, let's say this one here is something that has round text, and I can change that. I can change that quite a bit. And there are a lot of these. Also a lot of Turkish ones. I think a lot of Turkish people are using Canva as well. So you just click on customize this template, and then whatever is here, you just modify. And we will look at that right here, right now. So I have prepared a tutorial for you. Let me just close this. Let me show it to you as a grid first. So I took their basic templates, like everything on the left here are their basic templates, but then I changed them. Then I modified them and made them into my own thing. Now, how did I do that? I changed the fonts. The basic structure remains the same, because really with these kinds of rounded logo types, the basic structure is usually the same, regardless of whether you do it on Canva or not. So they have the arc text here. I changed that to my slogan for the Angry Cat website. There's this whatever, mine is Asabi Sinirli Mazeretli. I got rid of these two little lines here. Obviously I got rid of their icon and replaced it with my own icon, and I added this one line. So this is now looking quite different from this, as you can see, but it's essentially the same structure. It's based upon the same template, but then I also use the same thing here to make this. So here I'm keeping, well, up here they have the script font here. I replaced that with a sans serif, but here I actually did keep the script font, although I changed the font. So theirs is something called Holiday, mine is something called Charlotte something something. And this is actually a font that I uploaded, because one of the things that you can do is you can upload your own fonts, and you can do that with a free account as well, as far as I know. So you just click here on the bottom, let me just do this again, click on the bottom, and then you go upload font. What it will say, so I'm not going to do that right now, but once you pick a font, it will ask you whether you actually have permission to use this font, and since we're using Creative Commons fonts, then you say yes, and then you upload it. So this is a font that I actually uploaded myself, and so is this one. This Droid, this very compressed font, which I needed so that the cat can actually be, the kiddie, the word kiddie can actually be read easily. I needed a font like this, so I uploaded that as well. Whoops, I can't, yeah, I have it here. This I imported, so the way it's sitting right here, you just say upload media, and then you pick whatever you want. I'm not going to do it right now because I already have all of them, and then they get uploaded to your library. They have elements. Now, these graphics elements I would advise you to stay away from. They are very childish, and you can find much better things on places like the Noun Project. But these lines and shapes that they have, these are quite nice, and I've used them while I was designing these logos. I especially used these lines here and then also some of these shapes. Let's see. So now what you can do, let me just, so here again, this is actually, let me just go here, and these are the templates that I recently used. So this is their template, this one right here, and out of that I made this. So this font changed, I uploaded this actually, I replaced their icon with my icon, I changed the font here. Their font is something called Basit something something, mine is a font called Siphon up here, and then Josephine down here, and both of these are their fonts. They have a lot of fonts here on this Canva thing, and they also organize them in a very strange way. So first they have the popular ones, then they have the English fonts, then they have Eastern European, I think they call it. But anyway, this Siphon is one of theirs, it's not mine. I didn't upload that. But I did end up uploading fonts because it's a little bit difficult to see what is going on here. These are really small, and I just and also I couldn't find exactly what I was looking for, and then also some of their fonts don't have Turkish characters and things like that, but they certainly have a big selection of fonts, and when you pick them you obviously need to be aware of what I was speaking about in other tutorials, about what to pay attention to when you're picking a logo font. But they have a collection here, and then you can also upload. Now when it comes to these icons here, I colorized that here. However, I have a separate tutorial for that, for colorizing icons, and that you need to do that on Photopea if you want to have really brightly colored icons. So for example, these two here I did not do on Canva. There is no way that I would have been able to get such a bright orange on Canva. It simply won't happen. So I'm just going to show you what I mean. So let's just bring this down here, edit image, and no matter what you do, you're not going to be able to tint this into a really bright color. It'll just get darker, it won't get bright. So you know, you can move these sliders around as much as you want to, but you are not going to get something which is like this or like this. Those things you have to do on Photopea. Canva is no good for that. On the Wix editor, yes, there you can do a lot of colorizing, but if you want to make a logo in Canva, and if you want to have a bright icon, then that needs to get uploaded, and it's basically as simple as that. So now let me go back here. I'm just going to ungroup this for a minute. Now this black dotted line is behind the cat. What you can do is you can bring things forward or backward. So I want to grab this here. If I bring this forward, it's going to come in front of the cat. So essentially all these elements that we have here, and I'm just going to group this again before I forget, you can move them back and forth, put one behind the other, or bring another one in front of the other. So that's another thing that you need to be looking at. So here we come to another one that I modified. It's this one right here that I used. And the way that you bring one of these is you just click on it and it'll just automatically appear, although I don't want to do that right now, so I'm doing a Control-Z. Now here, this looks quite different from this one, but it's the same, it's based upon the same template, and I didn't even change their fonts. So theirs is Josephine, mine is Josephine, theirs is this thing called Jonathan, and mine is this thing called Jonathan. What changed is that obviously the icon changed. I put mine, and this one I did colorize here on Canva, so it's this beigey kind of color. I added this line here, and then they have it really small, I made it really big, and that effectively creates a completely new logo. However, the starting point of it is the template. So here again, very similar layout, but the fonts changed, and the icon changed, and the colors changed, so we have a new logo. Now this one here, I liked this font that they had, and I also really liked this dashed circle that they had, so I kept those. I have the dashed circle, and I have the same font, which is this basit thing that they have, but I rotated it. Here it is straight, and here it is rotated, and I will show you how to do that in just a minute. I used the same background that they had, but then I got rid of their turtle and I put my cat there. So here again, this became this, and again I rotated it, I put it in a different angle, and then so this actually ended up becoming quite different from this, but the starting point of it is this. Here again they have the text arced around their icon. I changed the icon, I changed the font of the text, and I wrapped it in a different way, but basically this ended up becoming that. So the idea is not to use the template exactly, to start out with the template, but then make your own thing. And then this is quite close to this, for example, but it's still not the same. It's still a different logo type. Hold on, let me just close this. This is very similar actually, but it's a different logo type. This has become quite different from this. So now let's just go down here and let me show you actually, let me see, which one should we use, let's use this one. So you double click on it and you put your own text, and then when you click outside it will automatically go to the arc. And this here, you can actually play with this. You can make it wider if you want to, or you could make it narrower so that it wraps more closely around the central icon. I'm just going to leave it like this. Now these obviously we need to get rid of. So let's see, let me use this one here. So I'm going to, now I'm holding down the Alt key on my keyboard, and when you do that you will always scale things from the center. I'm just centering this. I'm not sure if I want to keep these or not. And then here I will just write my slogan. And it is always a good idea to have a slogan when you are designing stuff. It will make it, the more typography you have, the easier it will be to design things. Now I can decrease the font like this, but then another thing I can do actually is let me just bring this to the center again. I can also decrease and increase the font sizes like this, which is something that I can't do on the Wix editor. On the Wix editor, if I want to increase or decrease font sizes, I always have to do that by decreasing and increasing the font. Here I can just scale it, which is nice. I can open up the letter spacing if I want to, which I do want to open it up a little bit. And if we had, well, we do have two lines here. I can also, if I want to, open them up or close them up. So actually let's leave it like this. Now if you want to rotate this here, then there's a rotate thing here, and you can use that to rotate it like so. So for example, let's say I want to make it like this, and then you move it. Now I'm just going to delete these, and then take this, and then I'm going to go to effects, because I want it to curl around the cat more, like this. But then also I want to change the font. So I have been using this Josephine font quite a lot, and it is actually working quite nicely. We have one here called Lovelo, which is also working very nicely. We have Montserrat, but I need to get the thick version, which to find it here is going to be quite a nightmare. Although you can search for fonts here, so let's actually do that. Yeah, so if you know the name of the font, you can actually do it like that as well. So maybe I will use this, but then I will decrease the letter spacing a little bit. Well, maybe not. But actually, I think I am still going to go for Josephine. Except I'm going to search for the bold. And now that I've changed the font, I probably need to adjust this a little bit more. Rotate it, move it, and probably also decrease the font size. Now go back to effects and actually open it up a bit, because what I want is I want this to curl around the icon. So I'm spending quite a bit of time here doing this because I don't just want you to understand how this works, but I also want you to kind of get the way that my mind is working when I'm designing things, how a designer thinks when they are actually making things. So this one here, I'm going to make flash left like this, because now we are starting to get an asymmetrical logo. So I'm actually going to put this here, and again I'm going to make this Josephine as well. Now if you noticed, I am using uppercase letters in logo types. That usually works better than lowercase letters, and I can also explain to you why that is. So let me do that as well. So now if I write this not in uppercase but in lowercase, what happens is that we start getting these holes because of the lowercase characters, so we no longer have that nice straight line that all the uppercase letters have given us. So let me just do this back. So when we have it all uppercase, then we have nice lines at the top and the bottom. And when you have a small piece of text like what you have in the logo type, then it is usually a good idea to, and I'm just going to open this up a tiny little bit, it's usually a good idea in logo types to have the stuff all uppercase. Again, same thing here. If I were to write this, oops, do I have caps lock? No, I don't. Ah, it's because of the structure of their of the way that they let me see. Okay, so they made it all up, that's why. Now, yeah, so I needed to uncheck this in order to be able to actually write with lowercase letters. So let me also do this. See, we no longer have that nice arc because we are getting all of these holes in here. So that is why I prefer to use uppercase. Now, not always. I mean, here for example, I don't have uppercase. It depends on your design, but here I do have all uppercase. Here I don't, because here these stems that come up, what we call the ascenders, are not really all that high, so we don't have that problem of getting holes. When we have handwritten fonts, like this one here, strip fonts, then we absolutely don't use all uppercase, because what happens when we do is that we end up with something that becomes unreadable. So handwritten fonts always need to be used upper and lowercase together, outside of exceptions. There are exceptions, but not all that many. So again, here for example, if I were to make this all uppercase, it would be impossible to read what this is. So in these situations it stays upper and lowercase, but here again it's all uppercase. Let's see, what else do I need to tell you here? We talked about how to change the color of the font. We talked about how to rotate these things. We talked about uppercase, lowercase, how to change fonts, how to upload fonts. Did I forget anything? I probably did, and then I will probably tell you about all of that in class. Oh, okay. One more thing. They have this thing called text here, and I'm going to ask you to stay away from these. First of all, because colored text is a very, very problematic thing, and I've talked about that in other tutorials. And also these look very amateurish, very childish. Not something that you want to do in your design work. I mean, there are some nice combinations here, obviously, but the kinds of things that you would, maybe want to consider for a logo type are really quite pitiful, and also a lot of neons and things like that, so stay away from all of those. Now they have color schemes, and I have not looked at these, I haven't tried them, but they might be interesting. They might be something that you might want to look at. I really honestly don't know how this works, but let me just add a page and see what happens if I, let's say, just it just changes the color of the page, and then what? Oh, this is kind of stupid. No, you probably don't need this at all. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is, and I'm not going to keep you here for that, is I'm just going to take the logos that I made and export them. But let me just show you the export. I'm going to delete all of these. I'm just going to keep these, make them bigger. So let me just show you what I'm going to do on one page, and I'm going to do it on all of them. Just going to take this. Let me just zoom out a bit and make this as big as I can get it to be. And I'm going to do this with all of them. And then when I'm finished, I'm going to download them. Now, what I did, I tried out downloading SVGs, but I'm not going to do that now. Now, here's the thing. If you have that Trial Pro account, you can actually check this, and then it will just download the logo but not the background. And you can also increase the size to up to 1500 pixels, and then you just download it, all pages or whichever page you want. You just check it and you download it. Let's see. Now, if I were to use this professionally, I would download the SVG, which is what I was looking at, so that I can actually put it into Illustrator and keep on working with it. But for our purposes, the PNG is perfectly okay. It's enough. That's all we need. And then you would just say download with the transparent background, which, like I said, you can only use if you have that Trial Pro or Premium or whatever it's called account. So that is one reason why I'm saying that you should do that. And then don't forget and cancel it before the month is up, unless you want to keep on paying for it. Okay, so that was Canva and how you can make logotypes on Canva. And we will then now go to the Wix editor and import the things that we downloaded from here and put them on the page and continue to working there. Bye for now.